All right, this is our review number 4 for Summative in the fall of 2019. And fifth hour here, they're going to help me record some problems for our friends who are gone.
We are?
Yes. All right, so let's look at 1B. Mrs. Meyer, who's going to help me set up 1B, or at least talk to me about how do we do these questions? All right, Miss Ashley, first of all, how do I know if I'm looking at an and or an or?
By the sign.
Okay, so this one, oh, but you said but, what?
It would be an or problem.
Because
Because it doesn't have because the negative 4 right there.
okay, she's warning me about isolation. You have to isolate the absolute value bars before you determine and or orness. So you're going to tell me to divide by a negative 4, and then rules of inequality still apply. This becomes the absolute value of x plus 2. Because she divided by a negative, the sign has to reverse around. So now it says greater than 5. So this is why she's telling me it's an or. Once you isolate, if you have a greater than, it's an or, which means if you isolate and have a less than, it must be an and. I will not be tricking you on this test where we're going to have those weird questions that have like all solutions, no solution. I'm not doing that to you on the test. But this is being an or. I want a picture in your head of what does an or look like when you graph it. Do you guys remember they go in or kick out? They should kick out. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, Ashley, it's time to set up her 2 problems. What are they? Yep. Okay. Okay, I'm going to throw the word or down, so don't forget that. Yep, x plus 2. Cool. Very nice. Notice the 2 things that she did here. She reversed her sign and negated the answer. Both things have to occur. So this one's pretty simple for her to solve. She's going to subtract 2, and she's going to get x is greater than, or, make sure the or is there. Love it. So what the answer to her algebra is known as the inequality answer. The problem some of us got into last time is we had like spotty math where like we wrote down part of it, not all of it. So carry it all down with you. Now, Ashley already told me it's supposed to kick out when I graph it. This is a great moment to double check your work. If you get a graph that doesn't make sense, stop and go back to your work. Something's wrong. Ashley, which number shows up on the number line first? Which number shows up on the number line first? Okay, so according to her work, she's supposed to be graphing everything greater than 3, that'd be this way, or anything less than negative 7, this way. Is that what you were anticipating? Perfect. Parentheses or brackets? Parentheses on both? Because we don't have the equal to. Very good. I know. And then a few of our friends had trouble going from the graph to the interval. The graph is there for your interval help. I want Ashley to read off all of my graph shading from left to right. So just remind our friends, Ashley, who lives out here in the number line. And then when they get to this side, who lives out here in the number line? All right, so it starts at? Good. Cool. Nice. Very nice job. So everything that we colored in my case in ink, she read off from left to right, including a union symbol in the middle when we jumped over a bunch of stuff. Perfect. Make sure your interval is going left to right. We purposely made you do a number line for that reason right there, that you're going in the right order. All right, nice job. Let's do an and for fun. 2B looks exciting. Mrs. Meyer, who's going to help me with 2B? Amara. Talk to me about what I have to do before I even consider and or orness. Yeah, what are you doing? She's isolating the absolute values. Very nice. So again, have to isolate. What's your next step for isolation? Great. Finally, you're isolated, and I ran out of room. So I'm going to make my work go up here now. Amara's new problem is the absolute value of x minus 7 is less than 2. All right, Amara, set them up. 2 problems. Very nice. Notice the word and in the middle, she told me. X minus 7, and then she's flipping 2 things around. She's flipping the sign around, and she negated her answer. Very good. So once she adds 7 to both sides in each question, her answer comes down here to the inequality. So she has x is less than 9, and x is greater than 5. So in our heads, we're thinking what an and should look like. When I graph an and, what should it look like? It should, yes, sandwich towards each other. Very good. So 5 comes before 9. Make sure they're in the right number line order. And then this is a great moment where we can check our work. So she's supposed to be graphing everything less than 9 and everything greater than 5. And that will be exactly what you guys told me should happen. Everything in between 5 and 9. Once again, we have parentheses. How come these two problems had only parentheses? They didn't have the equal to bar. Very good. Anything in this section have equal to bars where we will have brackets? The other ones I didn't do, apparently. Whoops. All right, nice job. Oh, but before we move on, there's a little note here I snuck in at the bottom. Be prepared to do some explaining about how you set up and solve these. Your section of the test this time is not just going to be, here's 2 questions, solve them. It's going to have explain the process.
Do you like to us with this?
Yes, I thought that was a great question. I was really proud of it when I wrote it. So here's a great way where you can review this. If you're more of a verbal person, you turn to a neighbor and you explain the process to them. Say, first you do this, 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 and this. If you want to practice writing it out, that's fine. It would just be a series of steps. First you must do this, then do this. If you see this, do this. It's going to look almost like a paragraph. Everything that Ashley and Amara walked us through, you're going to have to communicate that to me on your paper. Thank you. I look forward to your responses. All right. Oh, what are my 3 rules for exponents? Who's helping me with this, Meyer? Joey, 3 rules. What you got? No negative exponents. Combine all things. Yep. There we go. And no parentheses. All right, cool. So, Joey, let's look at number 3. What would you like to do first? You want to distribute 3 and then to whom?
To the 3, the x, and 1.
Very nice. I was secretly trying to get you to mess up because I was trying to have a teachable moment, but you didn't fall for it. So Joey said, you got to distribute it to everybody. Now, guys, look what Joey did. 3 to the 3rd power. Don't forget the coefficient. And then what becomes of the x's exponent? You multiply them together. Very good. -9 and y to the 15th. Very good. You happy with this answer?
No.
Why not?
It's negative.
Very good. One of the rules says no negatives.
You move the x down below.
Yep, x down to the denominator, but everything else stays, right? So I'm okay if you guys say 3 to the 3rd power, y to the 15th power, over x to the now positive 9th power. I love that answer. Did anyone take that one step further and call 3 to the 3rd power something else? Call it 27? Yeah, I love that too. Nice job. So that distribution, especially right here to the 3, that was a very common whoopsies on the last test. Kids forgot about coefficients being their own little thing. Okay. All right, number 4, who's helping me, Meyer? All right, Kayla. We have coefficient problems, Kayla. Good news, though, Kayla. You have no parentheses. So talk to me about your coefficients. Right now it says 16 over 8. You can do better than that. What's 16? Yeah, you got to reduce it. Very good. And I like how you said 2 over 1, because we know it's going to be some fraction work here in a minute. All right, talk to me about the a's, and we got to combine them. Do you remember what you do to the exponents when you're dividing the a's like this? You do subtract them. Very good. So because this test is so short, guys, I love that you do mental math, but could you do me a favor and double check your subtraction and division and multiplication on your calculator once in a while, especially if a negative is involved? So Miss Kayla, I'm going to ask you to subtract -7 minus a -3. Yes. Very good. So her answer I write up in the numerator for now. And then same thing with the c's. What is 8 minus 4? Very good. So that's c to the 4th. You happy with this answer? Well, Ashley's not happy, apparently. What would we have to fix here, Kayla? Very good. Everything else can stay where it's at, but that a has to move. So 2 Whoops, that's not what I said. 2c to the 4th power. Oh, like this is new. And then a to the 4th power, move down to the denominator. Now it's positive. Thank you, Kayla. I do need to do 6, but let's talk about 5 first, because here's a mistake that I saw and I don't want to see again. Kids did a great job of thinking about distributing the 3. And then I had kids who distributed the 3 down here in the denominator. No. A few people. They got a little distribution happy. You don't distribute to the bottom in this case because it's not in parentheses. So keep that in mind. Vince, help me let's distribute this, okay? We got x to the... Oh, okay. Look at you using another property. He says x to the 0 power is just a 1. So he's like, forget it. So we don't have to do anything with it because 1 is boring. All right, now you can multiply the 2 times 3. This y becomes y to the 6th power. Very good. Now, the denominator, which hasn't changed yet, still has this. Vince, is this our... You want to move it? Oh, I like that. And if you move it to the top, you now have y to the 1st power up top. It's not here anymore. Now what? Because this is what you have right now. You have y to the 6th times y to the 1st over x to the 4th. Well, we got to make sure everything is combined. The y's got to combine. There you go. This becomes y to the 7th because you're adding them. Yeah. Over x to the 4th. Thank you very much. Now, I know a lot of people already worked through this question, and this is actually very close to the test question you had last time. And I saw a lot of kids with y to the 6th over y to the negative 1st, and they were like trying to subtract 6 minus negative 1. What is 6 minus negative 1? It's 7. So tell me why like 50% of the students in here told me it was 5. I know, a lot of you did. I think it was a moment of, I totally know what this is in my head. I'm just going to write it down, and I'm not going to check it, which is dangerous. Like, I know you guys know what 6 minus negative 1 is on a good day, but you're stressed out when you're testing, so slow it down a little. All right, thanks, guys. Let's look at 6 because I have a mistake in my answer key.
Yeah, even with the Brizzo messed it up.
Yeah, wait till you see what I did. It's hilarious. I know you did. All right, so this time, well, you're going to point out to me what I did, or are you just going to fix it for me? I know, it's awful. All right, you're going to tell me to distribute the 2 to everybody, right? So 5 squared and x to the negative 4th, and like I had a moment where I remembered to distribute it to here, so it's y to the 6th, and then I like forgot to do it right here. So this y or this x becomes x to the 14th. Now, why did we distribute to everybody on this question, and then I yelled at kids for doing that on them? Yes, parentheses are on everything. Okay? So this is clearly not an okay answer. We haven't combined the x's yet, and if you want to think of it as moving the other negative x, that's fine too. Somehow I need to figure out what to write for the x's.
For the x?
Yeah, what would you like?
You gotta move that x down.
Okay, we can do that. We can move.
You don't even have to take the hassle of moving it down. You can just add the 4 to 14. Then you get 18.
As long as you know where they go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm with you, Joey. He says you can move things, you can combine them, you can do them all in one step. This does become x to the 18th power down in the denominator.
He didn't know that.
I didn't do anything right there. The 25 could also be replaced instead of 5 squared. Okay, let's move on to the other exponent section. This is the newer one. But it's really not that crazy. Same rules, but now we have fractions. And since all of you hate fractions, I expect to hear a lot of clickety-click-click-clicks on your calculator. I love when you guys do mental math. I love it more when you check it. Okay? Let's look at 8a. Mrs. Meyer, who's going to help me combine 8a? All right, Nick. Combine all terms. Let's start with, do you see any coefficients hiding in this problem? Coefficients meaning numbers that are in front of variables. So the number in front of the x would be a 6. Anybody else a coefficient? There's a 4. So your coefficient, Nick, is what 6 times 4 is, better known as 24. Very good. All right, there's no parentheses to worry about, but Nick's going to use an exponent property. He's going to tell me what I do to these exponents to combine them together. We add them. So either on your calculator or in the noggin, you are adding 3/4 plus 2. And if you're on your calculator, I want you to hit math, enter, enter for me. Did you add that for me, Nick? 3/4 plus 2. And then hit math, enter, enter when you're done. Very good. Those of you who are adding this without the assistance of a calculator, you're getting common denominators. All right, you're going to use that same property, Nick, on the y's. No. But 2 is not 2/4. You'd have to change it into 8/4. Okay. All right, so negative 7/6 plus 1/3. Again, if you're on the calculator, fine. Just hit math, enter, enter when you're done. All right. So how do you think about this answer? Do you think this is a good final answer? So he's referring to the negative term. He says, please move it to the bottom. Will do. Everything else can stay up top. So 24 x to the 11/4 over, and now that you've moved the y, what else changes? It's now a positive 5/6 power. Very good. Nice job. All right, I'll leave 8b for you guys to try on your own. That's a good one. Let's look at 9a. Let's talk to Keith. Help me with 9a. What am I going to do with this exponent here? Distribute it. And then how do I combine it with the already existing exponents? Multiply. So either in the old noggin or on the calculator, I'm going to ask him to multiply negative 5 times 5/4. And also 1/3 times 5/4. Nice. So he said, I already forgot, negative 25 over 4. And then y to the 5 over 12. Is this a good final answer, Keith?
5 over 2 and 5 over 12.
I think it's 12. This is 25, though. Man, between the two of us, we're in trouble. Are you multiplying across? Did you add them or multiply them? Isn't that a 3 and a 4? 1/3 times 5/4?
Oh, it is 12.
Fine.
One really small.
See? This is the problems I'm dealing with today, man. All right, so now, are we happy with this answer? Me neither. Why not? There we go. All right, so the y to the 5/12 can stay up top. But he said move the x to the 25/4 to the denominator, and now it's positive. Wow, that's sloppy writing. My bad. Thank you. All right. Let's talk about 10a together, please. 10a. Ashley, is this your favorite question on the whole page or something? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so
Let's talk coefficients first of all. And I know you know what to do here.
I know you're gonna reduce them.
You're going to reduce them, yeah.
So it'll be 3 over 5.
Very good. And that's as simple as Ashley, if she was feeling a little lazy today, she could just type in 15 over 25 and hit math, enter, enter, and get a reduced fraction. Beautiful. She probably did it in the old noggin because she's smart like that. But it's on a test, so we're always nervous, so we have to double check. All right, now, what are you going to do with your exponents?
You're gonna subtract each one.
You're going to use the subtraction rule? Okay, I like it. So, x, what is his new exponent when you subtract 6 minus, careful, a negative 2/5?
It'll be 32 over 5.
Yes.
Positive.
And then for the y, she's going to carefully subtract negative 2 minus 8/5.
It'll be negative 18 over 5.
Yes. And as far as final answers go, this is not it.
So we're going to move the y to negative 18 down.
Very good. So still up top is your 3x to the 32/5 power. But now in your denominator is your 5 joined up with the y to the 18/5 power. Very good. Love it. You don't get like a badge or anything. There's no badge of honor for doing this all in your head, guys. It's your test. You want a 5, so please check on the calculator. Hey, Ashley, I got friends who think they can reduce 7/9. What do you say to that?
No.
Cutthroat, Ashley.
Why?
Do you know what they do? They do this. Now, think about that, guys. Why would a kid tell me the reduction of 7, this is -2? They're subtracting because they're getting a little confused with exponent rules. Is 7/9 anything to do with exponents? Those are coefficients, so don't do that. All right, moving on, guys. We got some newy stuff. More new stuff. That chirping crickets question is back. Now, I promised you guys on the test I would be very transparent and tell you what I want from you. So one thing I noticed on this question is when I asked you guys to write the equation, I defined the variables for you down here. So please pay careful attention to how I define the variables. This time I want chirps to be the y-coordinate and temperature to be the x-coordinate. So there's 2 ordered pairs hiding in these words. You got to find them. Right here, the cricket chirps 124 times a minute when it's 68 degrees. What does that ordered pair look like? But I need the temperature to be the x. There we go. Yes, and the only reason I gotta be picky about it is because I defined it for you down here. So make sure you look at that first. So using that same order, the next clue will be 80 degrees. The cricket chirps 172 times. So now they want me to find the constant rate of change. What's another word for constant rate of change? That's fancy talk for slope. Hey, I did not outright tell you the slope formula, so you do have to know this one. That's slope-intercept form of a line. It is something, but it's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's y minus y over x minus x. You just got to make sure you go in the same order. So for us, if we stick with that order, it'd be y2, so 172 minus 124 over, and then x2 minus x1. And then the Meyer method says calculate the numerator and denominator separately. That's a very smart way to do it. So you're going to get a slope of 4. Now, I want a label on your slope. So remember, it was y, which was chirps, divided by x, which was degrees Fahrenheit. So the label on the slope is 4 chirps per 1 degree Fahrenheit. So because it is like a real world problem, you should be labeling almost every answer you give me with the exception of an equation. Okay. Speaking of equations, it says find me an equation. And we will provide you this formula. This one we give to you. Does anyone want a little insight though into, I actually did give you slope formula. Can you guys look carefully at this equation? If you were to solve for m, wouldn't you just divide the x minus x1 over here? And then isn't that slope formula? Yeah. Uh-huh. So if you're ever in a jam and you're like, oh, what's slope again? It's technically right here. You just got to rearrange it a little bit. Okay. All right, pick your favorite ordered pair, guys. Do you like the 68, 124 or the 80? Oh my gosh. Well, I heard Amara first, so I'm going to go with that. All right, so y minus the y coordinate from your point is 124. And then the slope you just found to be 4 chirps. And then x minus the x coordinate from your point, which is 68. I will also accept you other people who said y minus 172 equals 4 times x minus, 80. These are both good. And on my answer key, I have both. Now, they don't want you to do anything with the equation, guys, so is it worth your time to rearrange it and simplify it? No, walk away from that question and do the last one. What does it mean to you when your math teacher bolds and underlines something?
Read it.
Yeah, read it maybe. Marty is spending money at the average rate of $6 per day. What is his slope? -6. Very good. Spending money. I hope I don't have to do this sassy thing on your test where I do 4 arrows pointing at the word spending.
No, you don't. Get it stuck.
No, you're not, Ashley. Have better spirits about it. You got this. Okay, there's another ordered pair hiding here, but we learned our lesson. Look ahead in the question and make sure you're setting up your ordered pair the way I want it. I want days, comma, money. So I heard 12, comma, 278. So this time, you don't have multiple points. You just have the 1 point. So use your slope and use this point and plug it in point slope form. So y minus the y coordinate equals -6. Good. And then x minus 12. Yes. Yes, it can, Joey. Now, because there's a follow-up question here, you might want to go ahead and simplify this equation, guys. This isn't in really a really good form. So let's get it into slope-intercept form. Hold on, guys. I got you for a few more minutes. I got it. I'll be able to finish this in 2 minutes. All right. Pretty equation. Here we go. Y equals -6x. Is that plus 350? Okay. The reason I like that equation is now I can answer the follow-up question real quick. 30 days. Remember, days is x. So I need you to plug in x equals 30 right there. And then tell me how much money he has left. $170 left. Good luck, Marty. All right, so that's going to be your test tomorrow. Let's get some 5s.